Harness lead generation. No matter what line of work you're in, I want you to focus on selling just one thing. Are you a real estate agent? Do you work in insurance? Do you have a specific skill like being a photographer, painter, or website designer? Are you a speaker? Or perhaps even a hypnotist like me? What if I told you the secret to harnessing the most powerful of sales principles came down to selling the same thing, no matter what industry you're in? Again, no matter what your line of business is, there's only one thing you should focus on selling. From my startup to scale-up story, you're going to learn the one product, which isn't even a product, that you should focus your efforts on selling. Together, we'll rethink the sales funnel model through the value of relationships. I'll detail my methods to establish a business that easily attracts the specific people with whom you'd like to work. You'll learn how to easily navigate people through a successful customer journey. What's that one thing you should be selling? Keep reading to learn more. Let's bring the story back to November 2003. There was a girl at my college that I wanted to get to know better. Imagine how well things would have gone if I had walked up to her and proudly announced, "You and I are going to have children." It might not have gone well. Then again, after having been married to her for more than 10 years and now having a better understanding of her sense of humor, it might have worked. While this chapter is about the value of a specific method of marketing called lead generation, it's really a focus on creating better relationships. Most people drive their business through a direct response method of marketing. They broadcast a sales message and hope people will buy after one or several repeated interactions. Here's a product. There's the price. Do you want it? How about now? I would never suggest that this method doesn't work. It does, though it may require more effort and patience. It can sometimes become a numbers game. If I make the offer to more people, perhaps I'll sell more. It can also be more difficult to offer a product at a premium rate. The lead generation marketing style builds sustainability and automatically trains you to build your business in the form of systems. When you try to sell to everybody, you often end up selling to nobody. Instead, metaphorically and sometimes literally, have people raise their hand to express an interest in the product or service you offer. Now, you spend your time only with those people, the leads, who have expressed interest in what you do. It's time to rethink the sales funnel model. As your potential customers metaphorically travel down the funnel deeper into a business relationship with you, you continue to expand rapport and demonstrate value. This is paramount. Put value at every step of the journey. Rather than thinking in terms of selling, you create a potential journey of adding more value the deeper they travel down the metaphorical funnel. Here's the amazing benefit. You'll be inspiring your ideal clients to take action, and you'll be allowing those who are not yet a fit for what you do to politely exit the process on their own. You don't need to be fearful of becoming a dreaded salesperson. This business model focuses your efforts on educating rather than selling. I suggest the best form of lead generation is driven by creating valuable content your potential clients will benefit from. Content can take the form of a video on a website, an article, a speech given in your community, or even the still viable methods of business cards and paper brochures. The first step of lead generation begins with delivering a valuable experience which establishes visibility in your market and starts a system of reciprocity. If your free information is this good, imagine how much it gets better when they step into a business relationship with you. Establish the ability to stay in contact with your audience. You'll ignite the number one secret method of many successful businesses, the list. Your market and your product will help you define your delivery mechanism. I see the same good results through email marketing thanks to automation tools like Aweber, GetResponse, or Infusionsoft. It's not the platform, it's the strategy. You can also do this for social media groups, text message marketing, or even postal mail. You will deepen the lead generation relationship when your future client purchases further information by providing their contact information, most often an email address. A simple online search or the resources of the email automation provider you choose will give you the current ethical and legal guidelines for permission-based marketing messages. But I hate receiving marketing messages in my email, I hear some of you already cry. I've got an easy solution for you. Don't do it badly. Seriously, that's simple. Like anything else out there in the business world, many good methods get a bad reputation thanks to people who are sloppy in their methods. I know someone who hurt their professional reputation by harvesting emails from websites and sending unsolicited bulk emails to people without permission. That's the definition of spam. Keep contact only with those to whom you have permission to broadcast a message, and keep your focus on providing more and more value rather than only sending sales offers. Provide more value to get more value. There's no set rule or exact pattern you must follow. Consider sending 3 or 4 pieces of valuable content to balance out one direct sales message. Timing is critical, as I'll aim to only run 1 or 2 promotions a month. If all you're doing is sending buy now messages, people will quickly start to opt out of your list. These are likely the emails you hate receiving, right? So don't do it that way. When I suggest you lead with value, realize you can also put an offer below the fold. This terminology dates back to newspapers, where a headline would be at the top of the newspaper with content beneath the fold of the newspaper. Imagine the layout of an attention-grabbing email subject line, a positive instruction to interact with something that will benefit the reader, perhaps a link to a video. Beneath that, something like, "Want more like this? Click here to learn more about my program." It's a much more natural way of strengthening the business relationship rather than going directly for the sale. This is exactly what has built for me what is now a $1 million brand. Build the ultimate system to drive the exponential growth of your business. I maintain a schedule of providing free content. This guides people down the sales funnel by providing value with an offer to take the next step in our relationship. My list grows every month, and my sales continue to grow. For those of you with a local brick-and-mortar business, stay with me here, as this isn't just an online business strategy. A friend of mine, a chef, built a loyal following for his restaurant by using stories featuring his staff and the history of his original recipes. His readers developed a deeper relationship with him, and many of them dine at his location on a regular basis now. I've used a similar method to drive attention to my local hypnosis business. I'm teaching helpful methods to rapidly dissolve stress, sharing tips on public speaking, or even giving insight on how to let go of your own fears. I provide value first. My office schedule easily fills. You can also deepen the relationship for your lead generation by providing a high-value experience at a lower cost than the core offer of your business. Often called a tripwire, it's an effective strategy to grow your business and get paid while doing it. I teach a week-long training course, and I'll frequently offer a 1-day introductory sampler class for those that are curious. The attendees receive a ton of value from the 1-day experience. Those ready to move forward in the relationship sign up for the full experience. Thanks to list segmentation in my email systems, the people who have attended the 1-day event receive a different level of communication about the full course, as they're already deeper into the relationship. I just mentioned your core offer. This is your primary product or service. You might have several different offerings. If you're a service-based business, this is the action of going and performing the service. If you're selling a product, the product itself may be your core offer. When I spoke before of direct response marketing, this is where many businesses put their focus. They make a direct offer for you to buy their product or service. If you insist on sticking within a direct response model, at least start to put out valuable content to demonstrate the value of your core offer. This also cultivates community, as people will start to follow your brand. Consider the story that began this chapter. The relationship with my wife first had to start by asking her out on a date. We eventually moved in together. We then got a cat. Then I proposed. Then we got married. Then we bought a house. Then we got a dog. Then we had a daughter. Then we moved to a bigger house. Then we had a son. We recently celebrated 10 years of marriage together. Imagine your prospective client relationship following the arc of a romantic relationship, and you'll better understand your business efforts. Asking a stranger to immediately buy a $1,000 product may be just as successful as asking someone who you've just met to go half in on a 30-year home mortgage and to trade off whose turn it is that week to scoop the cat's litter box. I hope some of you are realizing why previous attempts to grow your business may not have worked. The relationship arc is the foundation when I speak at an event. I'll deliver value to the attendees during my presentation. I'll make an offer to continue the relationship by sending resources by email. Some of the attendees will follow me to a vendor area where they'll purchase my programs. Others will continue to receive value by way of content sent by an automated email stream or private access to a membership area on my website. There will be value received at the actual live event, though the real income is created by the long-term relationship we're building. The lead generation method allows you to add more steps to guide people to your core offers. You have a greater opportunity to grow your business. You may even discover places to further expand your business by maximizing the opportunities and needs of people who have already taken your core offer. Private coaching? A mastermind group. Deepen the value of the relationship, and you deepen the opportunity to create and receive more value. Do you know the premise of the velvet rope? Only select people are welcomed into the elite restaurant or private club. If you think of your lead generation methods as a velvet rope, you no longer need to be the person standing there at the entry point of your business. Automation emails, online videos, and other valuable content will handle the selection process for you. Your potential audience will qualify or disqualify themselves in making a buying decision. You will potentially negate all buyer's remorse, as those taking action will know exactly what they're purchasing. This is a good thing. You're helping your potential client make the best decision. This is illustrated by a story of my corporate speaking. I teach the audience 3 strategies to internalize goals in my presentation. One of them happens to be self-hypnosis, which I demonstrate with volunteers from the group. During the sound check, a man of the organization walked up to me and informed me he was not going to be a volunteer. "Have you seen a program like mine before?" I asked. He replied that he had not. I briefly explained that there's a full audience participation at the beginning of the event for people to discover the power of their own subconscious minds out in their own seats. It's only after everyone has experienced entertaining hypnotic phenomena that I invite volunteers to come onto the platform. I playfully told him, "You haven't yet had the first experience in the audience yet, so I don't think you're qualified yet to make that decision." He laughed at this, and guess whose hand was the first in the air when I called for someone from the audience? Model this story. The hypnosis is just an anecdote to this lesson. Put anybody on stage asking for a volunteer. Why are so many people reluctant to come on stage? Perhaps it's not the fear of being in front of so many people. It's more likely because the speaker hasn't yet given them a reason or benefit to volunteer. Give people a reason to take action, and more of them will take action. I gave the volunteer in this story a reason to come on stage. If he had kept his original decision-making criteria, he would have missed out on the experience. Design your systems for lead generation so you set the criteria for making a buying decision. Do this as a favor to the customer. They're likely entering into a unique venture doing business with you. If you can provide the map to make the right decision, you're making their lives easier. I'm a hypnotist. There are some people out there with fears or misconceptions of the process. Rather than being a loss of control, we're creating a heightened awareness so that they can change their own habits and feelings. My sales process must demonstrate through education how the process actually plays out. In addition to that, it's most likely a service they've never purchased. What other questions should they ask beyond how many sessions and how much is it? I've created a guide for them to know what credentials are important and how to find if the practitioner they're researching has a proven track record. You know the criteria that are important in your line of business. It's your ethical responsibility to let your audience know. I foreshadowed that the key to a successful business comes down to selling one thing. Ready the drum roll. It's time to reveal the one thing. The game changes when you discover the secret product that all your business systems should be designed to sell. The next step. When you focus on selling the next step along the journey, your focus is naturally on deepening the quality of your relationship to your buyer. Remember the list of life events that led to 10 years of marriage? Buying a home together and getting pets seemed like a logical progression toward having kids. You can break down your entire business into these next step mentalities. The subject line of an email sells the next step of opening the message. The images and layout inside the email sell the next step of reading the email. The links within the message sell the next step of clicking and watching a video. An appropriate attention-grabbing statement in the first 10 seconds of the video sells the next step of watching the entire sequence. The more likely I am to succeed in these baby steps along the journey, the more likely my audience will go through the steps necessary to purchase. Purchasing one of my online programs will more likely sell the next step of private consulting. Why are you learning this from a hypnotist? Because that's how hypnosis works. It's a process of compounding levels of heightened receptivity in the mind. It's a natural experience in which more profound hypnotic phenomena are possible the deeper someone moves through the process. In my demonstrations, perhaps there's the moment where someone has their eyes open, looking at their own arm, and it's magical as the more they try to bend it, they cannot. Deeper into the experience, I can suggest a negative hallucination as if I were to physically disappear. In terms of hypnotic technique, I know the negative hallucination requires a more profound depth of hypnosis than the experience of the stiff arm. Even without hypnosis training, you can now guess that I'd want to have produced the stiff arm phenomenon to know I can now proceed with the mental vanishing stunt. The core of my presentations is to use a memorable experience to drive home a teaching point. When you change the picture in your mind that it's a steel bar rather than your own arm, you can accept the hypnotic suggestion as if it couldn't bend. Imagine if you now change the picture in your mind to see yourself as a successful business person. What can now begin to happen for you? There's an abundance of business opportunities waiting to be had. The negative hallucination experience demonstrates how to avoid the situation of missing out on business that's been in front of you the whole time. Imagine how this next step philosophy is the foundation of my speaking. I used a valuable experience to drive home a teaching point, heighten attention before making an important statement. Your communication is always influential, so I suggest you make it more impactful. Ask yourself, what next step would be the most appropriate to assist your customer in making a buying decision? It requires some creativity as you design your systems. Once you know the logical progression of the relationship with your customer, you know how to build more lead generation steps for people to build relationships with you through your funnels. This takes the stress out of building a business. Lead with education, inform your potential client, build stronger connections, and you'll build a solid business. Now, your task is to put this into action. Start to build your systems to grow your business. Use the principle to work smart, designing your journey the clients will take. Start with the end in mind and stay client-centered with the process. Think through each step along the lead generation journey so you help your buyer achieve several small wins. Empower them to become more informed each step of the way. Ask yourself, how can I demonstrate value? The valuable experiences you are designing will naturally position you as the authority that you are in your industry without the need to brag or boast. There's science to this. These small wins may produce positive results in their brain chemistry. The success they achieve along their journey helps to ride that dopamine rush, a feel-good hormone within the mind and body, which encourages them to move on to the next step of the journey. There's something appropriately hypnotic about providing value to draw people in, building reciprocity, and guiding them to the next logical step. Is this manipulative? The truth is, we're always influencing, so learn to do it ethically and respectfully. Use your powers for good. The strength of content marketing and lead generation is that you're learning to lead with value. You're improving people's experiences along the journey. Be sincere with your communication. Make it your goal for people to be better off than when they first found you. You can still produce raving fans and receive outstanding referrals even from people who haven't spent money on your services. The benefit of producing media on a regular basis is that you're establishing a cycle of communication to launch your products while exponentially building more raving fans. The know, like, and trust momentum burns like an eternal flame. The small wins you create build a logical next step to go deeper into the relationship and become a paying customer. This is your opportunity to brainstorm. What can you share with your potential audience? What experience can you provide? The simple answer: anything people can interact with. I've found the best result by mind mapping headlines, titles, and specific themes. I only think about what platform is best for delivery once I have nailed the concept that needs to be shared. Your delivery mechanism can be an email, a paper flyer, an MP3 download, a series of videos, a live event, or almost anything else. The only limitations are your budget and imagination. Modern technology has made information on demand an instant gratification experience. I can turn on my phone and be in front of thousands of people in a matter of seconds. Start producing content. Make a video, start writing, send an email, draw something by hand, and outsource it to someone else to design it into a marketing piece. This next step doesn't have to be something involving a computer. Highlight your services with a free consultation either by phone or in person. Your time can be the next step along the lead generation journey to build value and rapport. My hypnosis business was originally built by offering a consultation to explore the process and talk about how it would work for them. The user experience of a free brief meeting established the rapport and expectation necessary to sign up for a program. Ever walk through the food court of a shopping mall? Some restaurants' next step is a sample of their food. Ever attend an open house of a home for sale? The next step is to tour the home. Even a drug dealer's business model hinges on the first taste is free, though I'd encourage you to be inspired by better metaphors. It all comes back to starting and maintaining relationships. You hear a song that you like. You purchase the album. You watch clips of the singer on YouTube. You buy tickets to see the performer in concert. You buy t-shirts at the show. Maybe one day you purchase the VIP meet and greet. Your journey began with a simple introduction. Rapport will naturally be in place before you ask someone to make a purchase. I call this the Willie Nelson effect. I saw him in concert many years ago. At the end of the concert, he sat on the edge of the stage and signed hundreds of autographs. To overhear the conversations with fans, you'd think they already knew each other. These fans had been listening to his music for years, interacting in a dialogue with his songs, and the conversation naturally picked up in person for the first time. Wouldn't you like your business to have that same feeling? Build rapport so your clientele naturally feels a connection to you. Providing value builds a strong bond between you and your customer, eradicating the challenge of becoming a replaceable commodity. Deep rapport is in place before the sale is made. Stories sell. Stories build value. Before a hypnosis client sees me to quit smoking, they watch a video on my website introducing a giant glass jar filled with perhaps 2/3 with crushed up packs of cigarettes. I say, each pack of cigarette tells a success story of someone just like you. Though I should mention why this jar is kind of empty. It's empty for a good reason. I produce a second glass jar overflowing with cigarettes, and I continue in this video. It's because this one didn't have any room left. Please pick up the phone right now to talk about becoming a non-smoker once and for all. This strategy was effective given the surprise of the sight of so many thrown-out packs of cigarettes. The story drew in the audience to build rapport, and the call to action was well received. Thanks to the analytics of online marketing, I could track people who were watching the entire video and at what point they decided to call me. For those that are on the fence of making a decision, I had an email opt-in series to receive further information on the process of quitting smoking. These two journeys into the same process had the same benefit. People were walking into my office with their cigarettes in hand, ready to throw them away. I did not have to give the instruction, make the request, or even hint at a demand. They had conditioned themselves for the experience to be successful. By thinking in content marketing and lead generation principles, you create a better customer experience. Nobody wants your newsletter. I know, I'm taking a risk in saying something that bold to you. You've read my book up until now, so I don't mean to offend. Allow me to explain myself. Imagine this. Hey, it's Tuesday. And because it's Tuesday, I'm sending you an email. Because that's what I always do on Tuesdays. How exciting is that? It isn't. People have become immune to marketing messages. We see them all the time. In the words of Gary Vaynerchuk, we're all in the business of day trading attention. Here's a better option. What if I knew you had an interest in improving your public speaking? Perhaps I had 3 specific conversational strategies you could implement immediately to become more ethically influential while reducing fears. Would you rather receive that or my Tuesday newsletter? Remember, the goal is to provide an experience and create a personal win. Ride the momentum of this mini success into the sale. And thingify it. Make it a thing. Name it and make it something specific. Public speaking tips. Or the 3-step influence system. Which would you rather have? Make your offer stand out. Be memorable and specific. Avoid the challenge that confusion doesn't sell. Name your piece something short. Give it a subtitle to explain it. Want an example? You're reading it. The name of this book is a short title followed by a brief explainer subtitle. By the end of reading the title, you know what you're going to receive. That's likely why you picked up this book. This strategy doesn't have to apply only to the first step of the lead generation journey. Brand and label all that you do to have a common language and become more memorable. If I'm offering a class, it's never click here to learn more. Instead, it's click here to get the video test drive experience. Learn what it's like to take my class before you even take my class. I've shared the strategy with other speakers. As they branded their video welcome sequence as a backstage tour, their new client interactions grew. Keep your focus on the relationship metaphor. Genuinely care about the people you're in a relationship with. I would insist you be authentic and maintain integrity with your customers. Business is noble when you're solving someone's problem. Create stronger relationships as you create a stronger business. To tie it all together, the relationship continues even when they become your client. Through a principle of onboarding, I created a Start Here video at the beginning of one of my flagship products. There were instructions to get more value throughout the program. I sold the next step even to people who had already paid me. The results were dramatic as people were getting even more value from the program. The side benefit was the product refund requests were virtually negated. Put value at every step of your customer's journey. You will receive more value in return. Work smart action steps. Imagine yourself in the shoes of your potential client. What goals do they have? What challenges are they facing? What common questions are they asking? It's important to let the journey focus on their story even more than yours. Compile a list of their needs. This will become the roadmap for your content creation. Is there a part of your business that's struggling? Shift your perspective and ask where you are in the relationship with your audience. If you're trying to metaphorically consummate marriage before the first date, it's time to add a few more steps to your buying process. Enhance the relationship with your potential customer. Commit to a schedule of producing systems that will guide more people into your business. You can still continue to just sell your product directly. The benefit of adding lead generation to your strategy is a widening web to attract more people. People have different buying strategies, so you will appeal to a wider audience. Outsource the technology tasks that aren't an effective use of your time. Consider the people who are already paying you. What next step strategies can you implement to give them a greater experience? The more I've put value into my programs over the years, the more client referrals became the dominant force that drove the success of my business. Create systems to enhance customer satisfaction.